Hi ladies, today we have lesson 4.3, parallel and perpendicular lines. Your learning targets are that you can write an equation of the line that passes through a given point, parallel to a given line, and you can write an equation of the line that passes through a given point, perpendicular to a given line. So your mathematical practice strategies, your first question says, if a given line is vertical, what is the slope of any line parallel to the given line? So that would be undefined. Because if you're vertical, remember a vertical line is going up and down, and your slope is undefined. If you have a line that is perpendicular, your slope is going to be 0, because remember, that would make it this way, and the slope of a horizontal line is 0. Is it possible to have two lines in the same plane that are not parallel and do not intersect? Explain. No, it's not, because if two lines in a plane are not parallel, then they will intersect at a point eventually. What is the relationship between the slopes of two perpendicular lines, and what is the product of the slopes? Well, the slopes are opposite reciprocals. So opposite meaning positive and negative, and reciprocals meaning if you have A over B, your reciprocal is B over A. And then their product, if you were to multiply those, would be -1, because you would have one positive and one negative and a reciprocal. What type of angle is formed by the intersection of two perpendicular lines? So you get a right angle, 90 degrees, when you have two perpendicular lines. Some important vocabulary, you have parallel lines, which are lines in the same plane that do not intersect. They will never ever intersect. Non-vertical parallel lines have the same slope. So all vertical lines are parallel. And if two non-vertical lines in a plane have the same slope, then they are parallel. You can also have perpendicular lines, and those are lines that intersect at right angles. And non-vertical perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. So example, if your slope of a line is 4, the slope of the line perpendicular to it is -1/4. So vertical lines and horizontal lines are perpendicular, and the product of the slopes of two non-vertical lines is -1. Then the lines are perpendicular. So our first example here is parallel line through a given point. So it says write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line that passes through -3, 5 and is parallel to the graph of y equals 2x minus 4. So your first step is to figure out your slope. So I'm just going to put step 1, find slope. Now, since you have, I'm doing a different color, y equals 2x minus 4. You're in mx plus b form, so you know that your slope is 2. Now, you have a point, which is here, and you have a slope. So, your second step is to find the equation in point-slope form. Now you will remember that point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So you have an x1 and a y1 and an m. So we will say y minus 5 equals slope times x minus a -3. Now we will simplify. Y minus 5 equals 2 times x plus 3. And now since we need it in slope-intercept, we're just going to simplify. So we have y minus 5 equals 2x plus 6, because we're going to distribute our 2. Add 5 to each side. So you get y equals 2x plus 11. And that is your line parallel to the given line that they gave you. So now I'd like you to pause and try number 1 on your own, just as we did that last example. Okay, now we just have a review slide because we're going to start talking about perpendicular lines. And perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. So you want to remember that opposite reciprocals are positive and negative makes it opposite, and reciprocal is the A over B and then the B over A. And their product is always -1. So for example, you could have 5, and then you would also have -1/5. You could have 1/2, and then you would have a -2. You could have 3/4, and then -4/3. You could have -5/6, and then +6/5. So you see that they are opposite and reciprocals. They have been flipped. So our real world example 2 is slopes of perpendicular lines. It says the outline of a company's new logo is shown on a coordinate plane. Is angle DFE a right angle in the logo? So we want to find DFE. They're asking us, is that a right angle? So we know that if BE and AD are perpendicular, then it will be a right angle. So we want to try to find the slope of this line. So AD and BE. I'm going to say RAD and BE perpendicular. So step 1, find slope. So we have for AD, our points are 1, 2, and 1, 2, 1, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4 and 5. So we have 2, 1, and 4, 5. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. So we have 5 minus 1 over 4 minus 2 for our slope, which is going to be 4 over 2, which will be 2. Now we want to try to find line BE, which is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So this is 2, 3, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1. So we will have sorry, 3 and no, not 3, sorry, 2, 3 and 7, 1. And we have x1, y1, x2, y2. So we have slope equals 1 minus 3 over 7 minus 2, which will equal -2 over 5. And ladies, here I counted wrong. This is a 6. So we would get 5 over 2, which is equal to 5 over 2. So you can see that we do in fact have opposite reciprocals, because we have a 5 over 2 and a -2 over 5. So yes, angle DFE is a right angle. Is each pair of opposite sides parallel? So what we want to do is look at opposite sides. I'm just going to erase this for now. We have CG and AE. So line CG and line AE. We need to see if they are parallel. So we have 1, 2, comma 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, comma 1. So this is, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, comma 6, and 7, comma 6. So CG is 2, comma 6, and 7, comma 6. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. 6 minus 6 over 7 minus 2 will equal 0 over 5, which equals 0. AE is 2, comma 1, and 7, comma 1. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. 1 minus 1 over 7 minus 2 equals 0 over 5, which is 0. So they have the same slope, therefore they are parallel. Yes, parallel. So now I'd like you to try number 2 on your own. Example 3 says parallel or perpendicular. Determine whether the graphs of y equal 5, x equals 3, and y equals negative 2x plus 1 are parallel or perpendicular, and explain. So your easiest way to do this is to graph it. So, just going to get my graph set up. So let's see, I've got y equals 5, which is just going to be up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and draw a line through it. I've got x equals 3, which will just be 1, 2, 3 on the x-axis, and a straight line through that. And then y equals negative 2x plus 1, where I know that my y-intercept is 1. So I'm going to go up 1, and then I have negative 2, so I'm going to go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. I can go up 2 into the left 1, up 2 into the left 1, and then I will draw my line to connect those points. And you can see that none of them are parallel, but you can see that your y equals 5 and x equals 3 are parallel to your axes, so those are perpendicular. So again, let's see, this is parallel to the x-axis, and this is parallel to the y-axis, and those axes we know are perpendicular, so therefore you can assume that y equals 5 and x equals 3 are perpendicular. So now I'd like you to try number 3 on your own, please. Example number 4 is perpendicular line through a given point. It says write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line that passes through negative 4, 6 and is perpendicular to the graph of 2x plus 3y equals 12. So step 1, like we talked about, is finding our slope. So step 1, find the slope. Now you are in standard form, so you want to get into slope-intercept form. So you have 2x plus 3y equals 12. Subtract your 2x. 3y equals negative 2x plus 12. Divide by 3, and you get y equals negative 2/3 x plus 4. So now you know that your slope is negative 2/3 of the original line. So the slope of the perpendicular line, the slope of the new line, is opposite reciprocal. So we're going to have negative to positive, and the reciprocal is 3/2. So now you have your m, and you have an x1 and a y1. So step 2 is write the new line in point slope form, which you'll remember is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So we will plug in. We know our y1 is 6, so we have y minus 6. Our slope is 3/2, and our x1 is a negative 4. We will simplify that double negative, 3/2 x plus 4. And now we want to get it into slope-intercept, so we're just going to simplify. Y minus 6 equals 3/2 times x plus 4. Y minus 6, we're going to distribute, equals 3/2x. 3 times 4 is 12, divided by 2 is 6. Add 6, y equals 3/2x plus 12. And that is the equation of the line perpendicular to the given line in the problem. Now I'd like you to try number 4 on your own. And last, we have a concept summary slide of parallel and perpendicular lines, just to help you review what they are, what they look like, and what they mean.